If you're in search of a heavy-duty front bumper that's not going to pull the nose of your Gladiator down with a ton of additional weight, this Barricade Alloy Series aluminum front bumper will be a great pick for your 2020 or newer Gladiator JT. Now, this will be a great solution for the JT owner looking for the utility and protection that an HD front bumper provides while still being conscious about the weight of the front end. That will make it great if you want to offset the weight of a winch or just don't want to add to the rake that you get from the factory, especially if you've already added a leveling kit to correct that. In addition to the functionality here, this is also just going to add some off-road appeal to the front end if you want some more heavy-duty styling for your rig. This will feature multiple recovery points, including 2 D-ring mounts that bolt onto the front of the bumper and the included D-rings. Now, what I like most about this front bumper is that the winch plate that's included is steel, so you're getting the best of both worlds when it comes to weight savings, while also keeping the winch functional on a solid mounting point. Not to mention, this will include the bull bar with support arms for added protection and fog light cutouts so you can swap over your factory lighting, and 2 tabs on the top of the bumper so you can add accessory lighting and customize this to your personal preference. This will be made of a 4mm thick aluminum construction, being lighter weight than the average steel bumper that's usually 15 to 20 pounds heavier than this, while still remaining durable. Now, the steel winch plate will be 5mm thick, so again, you can ensure that you have a reliable anchor point for whatever winch that you pair with this. Now, on top, you'll also see a nice textured black powder coat finish that will protect the materials from rusting or corrosion. Now, additionally, this kit will be bolt-on and come with everything that you need right out of the box for a simple install. Now, this will come in at roughly $750, and for what this is, I think that that's totally reasonable. Now, what I think is notable here is that this gives the appearance of the classic aftermarket steel bumper while saving you the weight. Now, mostly all other aluminum front bumpers on the page will usually stick with the stubby length and may not come with the textured black powder coat finish that you see here, really making this stand apart from the rest. Installing this will be a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you about an hour to get this onto your Gladiator. Now, at this point, we can head over to the shop and check out a detailed breakdown of the install and what that looks like step by step. So that's gonna wrap it up for me. Let's go ahead and jump into it.
Tools required for this install include an impact gun, an electric ratchet, a hand ratchet, a 17mm wrench, a clip remover tool, a Phillips head screwdriver, a plastic pry tool, a couple extensions, a swivel adapter, an 8 and 16mm socket, and a T20 Torx bit. What's up, guys? Today we're installing a front bumper on our Gladiator, so let's get started. So our first step to uninstalling our factory bumper is to remove our splash guard. It's held in by 8 push clips and 2 8mm bolts. So we'll grab an 8mm socket for our bolts and a clip remover tool for our clips. So our first step is to remove these 2 8mm bolts. And now we can remove our push clips. Now, coming back up top, right in between our bumper and our grille, we have 2 more push clips that we have to remove. So once again, I'll grab that clip remover tool and pop these out. Next, we can come behind the bumper on the passenger side. We have to disconnect our connector for our fog lights. So we'll press in back here and disconnect our harness. So now, staying on the passenger side, right by where we disconnected our fog light harness, we can remove this 16mm bolt as well as these 2 18mm nuts. Now, for the top nut, we're gonna leave that threaded on a few threads just to hold everything in place while we work on the other side. So we'll take that 16mm socket to remove our first bolt. And then we'll grab our 18mm socket to remove our 2 nuts. And then once again, up top, we're gonna leave it on a few threads just to hold everything in place. Now coming to the inside of our passenger frame rail, we have the same setup with a 16mm bolt and two 18mm nuts. So once again, we'll grab that 16mm socket for the bolt. And then we'll swap out to our 18mm socket for our nuts. And on the inside of our frame rail, we can fully remove both of our nuts since we have that one supporting the weight on the other side. And then we can slide our bracket out of the way. And once we're done with the passenger side, we can repeat those same steps on the driver's side. So now we can go ahead and remove our two nuts that we have left supporting the bumper and fully remove it. We'll set our bracket off to the side. Now before we start assembling our new bumper, there are a couple things that we need to remove from our stock bumper. So we have this big metal bracket held in by four 13mm bolts that we have to remove. And then once we pull that bracket off, we'll free up access to our wiring harness. We have to disconnect all of our clips, remove our harnesses from our fog lights, and finally remove our fog lights. So now we can take a 13mm socket to remove our four 13mm bolts. And then once we have our bolts removed, we can pull up on our bracket to remove it. So now that we have access to our harness, we can go ahead and disconnect our two connectors on our fog lights. There's a little tab on the top here that we can press in and pop out. And then we'll grab a clip remover tool to remove all the clips holding in our harness. So now with our fog light harness removed, our last thing to remove is our fog lights. So we have three T20 Torx screws. So we'll grab a T20 Torx bit to get these out. And then we can do that same thing on the other side. So now we're ready to begin assembling our new bumper. So the first thing we're going to do is install our factory fog lights. Now we have three square holes that are going to get our square clips. And then we'll be using our included Phillips head screws to install our fog lights. So now we can install our clips. These are just going to press in. And then we can lay our fog light down into place. And we'll start installing our three screws. Now I'll grab a Phillips head screwdriver to tighten these down. And then we can do that same thing on the other side. So now the way we're going to mount our bumper is the first thing we're going to have is our winch plate. That's going to go right up against the frame horns. We're going to have our long bolts that are going through the front. We'll have our D-ring mounting plates. Our bolt will go through that and then through the bumper, then through our winch mount, and then through our frame mount. So what we're going to do to make this a little bit easier is we're going to grab our winch mount first. We're going to get it up here. We're gonna put one of our bolts through backwards just to hold it into place. And then once we mount our bumper and our D-ring plates, we'll put our bolts through forward, pull our one reversed one out and flip it, and finish installing our bumper. So now with our winch mount held in by a couple bolts, we can go ahead and get all of our hardware together. We have a long bolt that we're gonna be using our small washer on. This is gonna go through our D-ring mount, and then it's gonna go through our bumper, and then through the holes in our winch mount, and then through the back of the frame horn, and then we can put our larger washer on the back side, as well as our locking nut. So now would be a good time to grab yourself a buddy to help you lift the bumper up, get all the hardware started, and then we can go back and fully tighten everything down. So now once you have a buddy with you, you can lift up the bumper, put those D-ring mounts in place, and then we can install our hardware. So now with our hardware in place, we can take a 16mm socket on our bolt side with a 17mm wrench on our nut side to tighten down our nuts. And then we can do that same thing on the other side. And now our last step is to install our two D-rings. So we'll just untwist this piece and then slide it through. And then we'll do that same thing on the other side. Now the last thing we have to do is reconnect our fog light harness. So first, we'll take the harness for our driver's side, and we're gonna go right through this gap over the frame, and then we're gonna run it over the frame on the other side as well, and then plug that in. And on this side, we can reconnect our main harness until we hear that click, and then we can reconnect our fog light connector. And then we'll just plug in our fog light on the other side. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the Barricade Alloy Series aluminum front bumper for your 2020 and newer Jeep Gladiator JT. Thank you for watching, and for all things Gladiator, keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.